Hey everyone, so today I have someone really special that I want you to meet. This is Wendy. She's one of the people in our community that has had incredible results in this business. Just 3 years ago, Wendy was a stay-at-home mom with no income, watching her husband work 80 hours a week at a job that wasn't leaving them a whole lot of time to spend with her family. She was looking for something that could give her family some freedom, more time together, but she had no idea how to make money online. Fast forward to today, Wendy's husband has retired from his job. They spend their time traveling full time with their kids, and Wendy continues to make five-figure months online. And here's what I love about Wendy's story. She's a real person. I've actually met her. I met her this past summer. She was someone who didn't have tech skills or a huge following when she started. And she's proof that if you're willing to bet on yourself and put in the work, that you can actually create the freedom that you've been dreaming about. So I'll just have Wendy here in a few minutes and we'll get started with our little interview. I'm so excited to have her on and glad that you guys are all joining me. Okay, so
Okay,
I don't
let's
want
do
to
it.
yeah, let's do it. I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Um, all right, so I kind of already introduced you and I'll just cut into that and just say, hey.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, for sure.
so Wendy, take us back to before you found the online business. Like what was life before as like a stay-at-home mom before you discovered the business?
Yeah, for sure. We were kind of in a situation where it just felt like we were on the hamster wheel. Day after day, we were like doing the same thing and really stretched, both my husband and I. So I was fortunate enough and blessed enough that when I had my daughter, I was home with her for maternity leave, and then I went back to work for like almost a year. Hated it the whole time because I wanted to be home with her. And fortunately, we were able to make that happen. But obviously, then what it meant was that we went from double income to single income, right?
Right.
And then there's a lot of pressure and weight on the person who is the only income provider in the house, right? If he can't go to work, if something happens, if there's, time off, the money stops. And so it's a lot of pressure to always carry that. And so he was working a lot of hours, a lot of days. And then on the flip side, like kind of like the effect of that on me and on the family and our children was just that we didn't have time together. So I was like blessed and happy to be able to be home with the kids, but I knew that it was at the sacrifice of like that meant that he never could be. He was always at work and he was never able to like spend that time that he wanted to be able to spend with them. And it was very like I noticed in my camera roll that my camera was full of photos of me and the children. And if I wanted a photo of him in there, I'd have to scroll. And his camera roll, because of what he did for work, he was on a lot of different projects and he was kind of leading certain elements of these projects and he would take pictures and document stuff. So his camera roll was just work. And like, what a telling moment to look at the camera rolls on your two phones. Because if you want to see what matters to people and what their life is, you look at their phone and look at the pictures they're taking, right? And so it was like, for me, it's me and the kids, and for him, it's work. And it's like, this needs to change so that these can meld together.
Right, right. Um, and so how did you find the business? It was after his cancer diagnosis, right? It was after he'd already gone through cancer.
Yeah. Yeah. So he was diagnosed with cancer in 2019. And then he went into remission. And we felt things kind of like shifting in our life, just with like our perspectives that we had, our views of the world, what we wanted for ourselves. We became like more health conscious, more freedom minded, and more intentional with our time, our days, our hours, our family. Suddenly you analyze that stuff. You're not so much on autopilot because you suddenly have this moment of like, okay, life is short and might actually not be as guaranteed as we previously were thinking, right? And so he went into remission and we felt things shifting, but then he went into remission and it was like, well, I guess everything goes back to normal. Like we didn't know a different path forward. So he went back to working the long days and I was home with the kids and we both kind of felt like we were almost like dishonoring the journey of what cancer was supposed to show us. And we knew inside, like we wanted something more and we wanted to be able to change things, but we didn't know what we could like plug into that would give us like health, wealth, freedom, purpose. And so it was like, well, I guess we'll just keep what we're doing, keep doing what we're doing, right? And then I was watching people from Canada move out of Canada and the United States, move out of Canada and the United States and move into mostly Nicaragua. I was in some like Facebook groups and I was watching like a lot of people leave Canada. There were mandates and restrictions in place that a lot of Canadians didn't agree with and so people were leaving. And I was just like watching and thinking like, how are they doing this? Because we don't have the ability to just move our income. So if we go, the income stops, right? And there was this one lady who I was watching, she built like a beautiful mansion on the beach. And I was just like, how does this happen? And I started kind of watching a little more closely. And she was in multi-level marketing. And I was like, that's a scam. And I actually Googled the hashtag of the company that she was with and the city that I lived in. And it brought me to the page of somebody from my city who used to be in multi-level marketing and now had switched over to what we're doing, which is direct sales and network marketing kind of hybrid. And this woman on her Instagram page was talking about building a freedom-based business where you can be present for your family and for the things you enjoy, but still earn a really livable income or more. And I was like, oh, I came here to like prove to myself that one thing is a scam, and now I think I found something else. So she had a link in her stories. I clicked on the link, I watched the video that was attached to it, and it turned out it was the things that I was looking for: freedom, health, purpose, wealth, location freedom, all of those things were all in this business model. And also a product that we were already planning to buy because the product that we work with is it creates the most antioxidant drink thing that you can eat or consume on the planet. So being a family who was switching to being more health conscious and who had, my husband healing from cancer, we were already looking at the product. We already wanted hydrogen water in our home. And it was just this beautiful moment of like, okay, I was wanting that. And I was also wanting, like, I was wanting this health product and I was wanting more freedom. And it turns out they're the same thing. Like I can have both
It's
here.
like the universe was like, here you
I
go.
know. I know. I literally put my hands in the air and said thank you. I was like, that was it. That was so cool. I asked for that and then that came.
And I
So
can
cool.
relate because that's exactly how I felt when I found it.
Ah, so beautiful.
I was like, this is it. Like, I finally found it. This is the thing.
Yeah.
Um,
And then like I spent the next like year and a half or 2 years, even still now, but probably the next like for sure the next 12 months, I would wake up in the morning and like my eyes would open and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy I found it. It was just like it was like this little thing I'd been searching for and now I got it, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I still feel that sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. So good.
Um, so what was it like when you first jumped into the business? Like, what was your first couple of months like?
Yeah. Um, so I mean for me, obviously like it was everything about it was new. I
Yeah.
had never done anything like this. I hadn't been on Instagram in like 18 months. I had like never made a reel. I had never talked in my stories. I had never been in any sort like I had been an employee. That was how I earned. And so suddenly I was like building something of my own. And then that falls on you, right? The success of that falls on you, which is empowering, but also like slightly intimidating, right? So it was very much like navigating just like, what does this look like? And then also trying to fit it in because our biggest constraint was time. That was why I started the business was we wanted more time. We wanted my husband to have less time working and more time with us and us to have more capacity for the family to kind of function all together. And so the interesting thing about it is that in order to accomplish that, you have to give time that you don't have, right?
Yeah.
So it felt yeah, right. It felt a little bit like, okay, we wanted more time freedom in our lives, and now I've added something else to our plates. And so it was really like a balancing act of like, okay, when am I going to fit this? When does this fit into our day? So I would like do a few things kind of online or like get back to people kind of throughout the day and like pockets of my day if the children were kind of like occupied or were doing something. And then like actual like business tasks, which would be like things where like I like go through the platform, set everything up, and then like improve those systems. That's the type of stuff that I would be doing in the evening. So the kids would go to bed, and it took a shift in what my life previously was to like, hey, I've got this new path, and where am I going to find the time to pour into it? So the kids would go to bed around like 8:30-ish. They'd be like completely done with me usually by like 9. And so then I would start doing like business tasks in the evening. And I think sometimes people can look at their life and think, well, I don't have the time for this. And it's like literally the only way that you'll change that is by investing in something that will allow you to have more time. And trading your hours for dollars will never get you more time. Because if you want more money, you have to put more time, right? So with this, it's the opposite. You put a lot of time on the front end, not even a lot of time, but the time that you put on the front end, and then eventually you get to a spot where you get paid more than the amount of time that you're putting in. And so it takes an entrepreneurial mindset of like, and I mean, I think this is any business, right? You have to like change the way that you have functioned in the past. We very much are raised in a way where we believe the best path is you work 40 hours a week or 50 or 60 or 70 or sometimes even 80, and you get paid the number of dollars that match your hours that you're going into work, right?
Mhm.
But that just puts you on that same cycle forever and ever and ever. There's no change to that. And so the thing that's different about an online business or about maybe any business is just switching the thinking of like, hey, in the beginning, I'm going to be putting hours and probably not earning because I'm just getting things off the ground. And then eventually that like switch happens. So for me, the first few months were really just like figuring out how to like fit it in. And I did start making money right off the hop, which was really good as well, obviously, but really just like figuring out how to like navigate the steps of like I've added this new thing onto our plate and how do I make it go based on the capacity that we have.
So, when did you have that, like, when did you realize, like, holy shit, this is actually working? Like, it's actually, when did you
Yeah.
see the proof? You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, so I would say like the first few months I was like making some money. And I was like, well, this is cool. Because previously I was a stay-at-home mom and I wasn't making any money.
Right.
So
Yeah.
anything extra that I was adding, I was like, that's kind of cool. Like that wasn't happening before. And I'm still able to be a mom, present for my children, make healthy, nutritious home cooked meals. The things that mattered to me were all still happening. So I was like, well, that's neat. Like I've added this other thing in, and yet I'm still showing up how I used to for the things that matter the most to me. And I was like, that's pretty cool. But it didn't become like life-changing income. It was more like supplemental for the first year. And then in the second year, so like 12 to 24 months, I earned $100,000 through the online business. And I was like, that's more than I ever earned in a year in my job where I had to leave my home and go somewhere and be on somebody else's schedule and, commit to what they want from me. So I was like, well, that's cool. That's like literally double what I used to earn in a job that I like was super stressed out about. So I was like, well, that's pretty impactful. And you can start to kind of like feel some space when that happens. That's what you're coming onto this year, my
Yeah.
girl.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, Danielle is about to enter her second year.
It's exciting.
Yeah, yeah. So you just notice kind of like the shift where you're like, okay, like this is like, I guess this is like really going and this is really working. And then in the third year, so like 24 to 36 months, earned $350,000. And that's when it's like, okay, we'll do whatever we want. So yeah, do whatever we want. So my husband left his career and we packed our stuff into a trailer. We sold a lot of stuff, but we packed what we didn't sell into a trailer and we parked it at my parents' farm. And we've been traveling the world ever since as a family.
Crazy and amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's so good. And it just feels lighter. It
mhm.
just feels lighter.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
I had a conversation with somebody today about that. Like, it feels heavy when you don't have enough money and you're just trying to keep your head above water. But when you actually have something that's, that you've built and is now working for you, you can breathe again.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, what I noticed, like, as much as it's like, oh, like $350,000 and we travel the world and like those big, like flashy things and that all is great.
mm,
But what like really matters in that is like the smaller things. So now when I look at my camera roll, it's us. It's like the family, right?
yeah,
Um, and even just like my husband has the capacity to, he's like very much like nature minded. He loves like being outside, um, being in nature, like observing like birds, animals. And so he has been doing a lot of photography while we travel. And now both of our children also do photography and they both have like pretty high level cameras. They look like the cutest little people out on like the things like the treks that we do. And there's like grown adults with the same cameras as our kids and they're like photographing birds and stuff. And it's just cool because that literally never would have happened had we stayed on the path that we were on because there wasn't the capacity for it, right? There wasn't that lightness of like, it's a Tuesday. We're in Vietnam and there's some like endangered monkeys that live an hour away from here. Let's grab our cameras and go see if we can find them.
yeah. And
You
like
know?
half the time you don't know what time it is or what day it is, and you're just like, oh, this is great.
Right.
It's like how life should be.
Right. Right. So it's not that we don't, yeah. So it's not that we don't still like do work. We do. And often still in the evening, we choose to like spend our days present with the kids.
Mhm.
And then in the evening, we'll do business tasks. So that part hasn't like shifted as much because I was previously doing business tasks in the evening and I still kind of am. But it's the two of us that do them together. And it's after having spent a day together doing something as a family most of the time. Um, so yeah, it just feels like lighter and more spacious and more just like I'm sure, I'm very sure that this is actually how it's supposed to be, not just for us, for literally humanity. And I think we've been so programmed and conditioned to accept our life as it is that most people don't hold the belief that this can also be for them. And it absolutely can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's exactly how I think. I'm like, I feel like we should all just be, growing our own food and helping each other and just being very, uh, just just helping each other and living instead of
hmm
just paying for absolutely everything and working
hmm
for, anyways, I could go on. I could go on
I
about
know, I know. I could
it just
too.
doesn't
I
feel
could too.
um
And I think too that we don't like recognize the abundance of the world, right? And
yeah.
so, sometimes like if you're hearing me talk and you're thinking like, well, that's something like unique to her and there's not enough. There is so much of literally everything.
There's so
Like
much.
of food, of money, of time. It's
Mhm.
just we don't believe that we get to access it.
No.
Right. And it's just a shift in mindset. And sometimes all that it takes is like a tool that you feel like you can use that can get you to that path. And so that's what it was for us, was like he was diagnosed with cancer. We shifted like a lot of our beliefs and we wanted something different, but we didn't have something to like plug in there
Mhm.
until we found this online business. And we were like, ah, cool. This can plug in and give us those things that we desire that we know are available to us. We just didn't previously know how to like get them, you
Yeah,
know,
because we haven't been
because you're
taught that
stuck.
in school. Because
Right.
all they're
Right.
taught is you go to school, you get good grades, you go to college, maybe you get the job you want, and then you work till you're 65 when someone then decides that you've worked long enough that you can retire.
Right. You get
So,
your stamp and it's
you
like
get
you're
your stamp
free
and then you're
suddenly.
free and you've got 20 years maybe if your health is still good to go enjoy your life. So it's like,
Yes.
it's wild. But
Yeah.
that's why, yeah, this opportunity is amazing because people are waking up. They're figuring out that, like, hey, there is a different way, and you can have all the things that you want. You just have to work towards them, right? Um,
Totally.
yeah.
And I
And
think too, with the way that things are shifting, like I think children in school are being programmed and taught to be educated in a certain way so that they can go get a job that probably won't even exist by the time they actually get to it, right? So I just think that there's a lot of change happening and it's happening very quickly. And there's a lot of people stuck in the systems of how we used to earn and looking at like AI and thinking, like, oh, it's taking away our jobs. Let the AI do the things it can do, and you go build a better life for you where you can be more present and enjoy your life more and make the world a better place because of it, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So like we can either work with the changes that are happening or we can resist them and then get left behind.
Exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of theories about that, but that kids were just, made to learn how to be good little workers because that's what the
Little worker bees.
majority wanted. Yeah. And
Yeah.
now it's like we have so many more options and so many more people are choosing to homeschool their children, which is what we're going to do in the future and what you're doing, and showing them like, hey, you can actually have anything you want. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to follow the system, right?
hmm
So
Yeah, I never even considered like entrepreneurship. Like you go through 12, 13 years of like childhood education and then it's like pick from like these jobs on a sheet. And like entrepreneur is not on there, you know?
it was ever on there in school.
No, it's not on the list.
No, it is not. So what would you say would be like one of the biggest myths or misconceptions about building a business that you would like to bust?
That you would like to.
That you would like to bust? Like you do your monthly Mythbusters. What would you say is like the biggest
Oh, yeah.
misconception?
Yeah. So it would definitely be that what if I don't succeed? Um, it was my biggest fear. Like, what if I fail and what if I fail publicly? And I was probably like 6 to 12 months in when I finally had the realization that it's actually not external, it's internal. So, like, me failing has nothing to do with anything out there, and it has to do with whether or not I continue learning, growing, pivoting, shifting, asking questions, and showing up. And if I do those things, it eventually gives way. There's no other way for it to go. There's literally like you can't imagine, for example, you're learning a new skill of becoming a painter, and you're going to spend the next 10 years fine-tuning your painting skills. Do you think you're still going to be a crappy painter in 10 years from now?
Like,
No.
no, like
But if you quit, you will, right?
exactly.
So
All
if
you
you
have to do
just
is
keep learning,
yeah.
right, right. And that is literally what I've seen in specifically, like, I mean, in any situation, but I witness it firsthand in my direct community of people who start the online business with me. And the people who don't see the success that they said that they wanted are people who quit.
Mhm.
And the people who see the success that they wanted are people who stick with it and learn and grow and shift and pivot. So that is the difference.
Yeah, like
So
I
if you
always
hold the
hear,
belief,
oh, I was just gonna say, I always hear people say in this business specifically, it's not if you're gonna succeed, it's when. Like if you just
when,
keep doing
when,
things, you keep learning, it's
Mhm.
inevitable, basically,
Right.
right?
It's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when, so long as you're shifting, growing, pivoting, asking questions, and continuing to show up. If you stop those things, then it does fail.
Hmm.
But it's only a matter of when,
Hmm.
if you continue doing those things.
Hmm.
So it's not external, it's internal. And if you're a person who, you can even just look at like past life experiences and just say to yourself, how did I show up when something was hard? What do I do when things are challenging? What in past experiences when I wanted something to happen and it wasn't working, what did I do? And if you can honestly answer those questions and say, I continued learning. I sought more information. I pivoted and changed strategies. Then you're a person who would succeed.
Exactly.
That's all that it takes is just like plugging in. And when you notice something isn't working, pivot, ask questions, shift, change. And eventually it breaks away. And I say this based on experience. My like 6 to 12 month mark was slow for me. And I think that's why I can hold this perspective is because if I look back at that 6 to 12 month mark, when I was putting in a lot of the effort and I wasn't seeing the results, a lot of people quit in that spot when they're putting the effort and they're not seeing the results. And so my story would be different. I wouldn't be talking to you because you joined me in like the beginning of my, or like I was like 2.5 years in, right? So I wouldn't have even made it to here. You would have never seen my ad because I would have stopped running ads.
Yes.
So yeah, so I can reflect very clearly, Lawson, just a little quieter, okay? I can reflect very clearly on that 6 to 12 month mark, and I can like clearly identify that like this is why people fail. This little spot right here where it's not moving, and you're like, I'm putting the effort and it's not going. If you quit there, you fail, and if you push through, you succeed. That's the difference.
Yeah, I literally saw, I think it's Eric Worre, who's like been in network marketing since the late 80s, say that
Hmm.
all you have to do to succeed is literally just not quit.
Right,
Network marketing, in network marketing, you just have to not quit because so
right,
many people quit and the ones that don't
hmm,
make it. So it's like,
right,
it's just
right.
learning a handful of skills, plugging into a system, and just
Fine tuning.
to stay consistent. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
basically it.
totally.
So if somebody was watching this and they were, on the fence and about to join, what would be your advice to them?
Mhm. Go for it. It's like it will change your life in more ways than you ever actually imagined. So for
Yes.
me, the life change that I was looking for was like, can I still homeschool and be available to my children and bring a second stream of income to our family to like lift a bit of that pressure, right? And then what I didn't realize I would get on top of it is everything else that came with it. The personal growth that came with it. There's a lot of personal growth that happens when you start something of your own and you start working toward your own goals and you show up consistently for those goals. You have to learn more about yourself in order to do that. So I didn't anticipate the personal growth. I didn't anticipate the income getting so big that we would be able to completely change our life and what we were doing. And I didn't anticipate or think about the community that would come along with it. It's it's different people. Like people who choose this path are different than the people who don't. We are a group of like-minded people with similar goals and very little competition and a lot of support. And our community chat is a beautiful place to be. I have found my best friends through this online business. Um, at this point, I have very few other friends, and it's not that there's not space or capacity for other people, but it's just that the people in our community have similar goals and show up in a similar way and are on a path of personal growth, the same as me. And so there's so much common ground about what we believe and how we show up to support each other. That it just feels like the energy of it feels beautiful and it's a great place to be. And so, what I would say to somebody who's like on the edge and they're like, should I do this or shouldn't I? Like, when you're considering it, it's because you've got something in mind that you want, right? So it's like, I want to be able to earn from anywhere, or I want to be able to earn enough that we're not paycheck to paycheck, or I want to be able to earn, um, on my own schedule, right? It's usually one of those three things. It's related to time freedom, location freedom, or financial freedom, or ideally all three, right? So it's usually related to those things. And so it's like, okay, cool. You want those three things. This business will get you those. Plus, it will get you personal development. You'll become a better person. You'll know yourself better. You'll gain a community. You'll gain some incredible health products. You'll have a path forward for your life, and you'll actually start feeling excited. You'll feel excited about the future. So you think you're getting this one thing. You think you're starting a business to like, I want to accomplish this. And it's like you get all of this other stuff with it.
Yeah, like your entire life changes. I mean, I've only been doing this a
Hmm.
year, and I have, there's a video within our community that says, like, you will make more friends in 1 year with this business than you would in your entire life. And it's so true
Hmm.
because I've lost track
Hmm.
as to how many people I've become good friends with. And like you said, it's because you have so many things in common. You become a completely different person and you start really
Hmm.
showing up for yourself, which no
Hmm.
other job has ever done for me.
No, no other job requires that.
No, because they don't care. A little bit.
Right,
They
right.
don't
You're like, I'm plugging my hours so I get my paycheck.
exactly. They're just like you're here to work and that's it. There's no like
Hmm.
encouragement to like grow and learn new things.
Right.
It's pretty incredible. But um yeah, well thank you so much for being here. I don't want to take up too much of your day. It's what time in there? 10, almost 11 in the morning in Vietnam.
10:51 a.m. Yes,
I'm sure
yes.
you have fun things to do with the
It's
family.
sunny. We might head to the beach.
Yes, go get some more beach time in.
Yes.
Thanks so much for being here.
You're
And
welcome. Thank you for having me.
thanks. We'll chat later. I'll see you online.
Yeah. Yeah, you will probably in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.